Hello and welcome to Maths on the Move, the podcast from plus.maths.org. I'm Mariana Freiberger.
And I'm Rachel Thomas. In today's podcast, we're coming to you from a beautiful park in Oslo. We're just standing near the Royal Palace. We walked down the hill and we're on our way to the Abel Prize ceremony.
Yeah, the Abel Prize is one of the most prestigious prizes in mathematics. It gets awarded every year by the Norwegian Academy of Science and Letters. The prize is named after the mathematician Niels Henrik Abel, who delivered some really groundbreaking work that, according to the French mathematician Charles Hermite, left mathematicians enough to keep them busy for 500 years. Now, Abel was born in 1802, but he died tragically early at the age of 26 from tuberculosis and in poverty. But he's now remembered in this prize. And this year's winner, as we reported back in March when it was first announced, is Masaki Kashiwara.
So, Masaki Kashiwara is this amazing mathematician from Japan. He's done work which is particularly interesting because it brings together different areas of mathematics, and often that's where the most exciting mathematics happens. He's particularly honoured for his work in algebraic analysis, where when he was so young, he was only a master's student, and he wrote this thesis where he fully developed this idea of something called D modules, which are more complicated than we'll go into here, but basically they're these mathematical structures that provide this fundamental bridge between the areas of algebra and the area of analysis being the kind of foundations of calculus.
Yeah, we're very much looking forward to the ceremony where the prize will be given to Kashiwara
by the King of Norway.
And we're also looking forward to interviewing Kashiwara tomorrow.
Excellent, let's go to the ceremony.
Let's go. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much, yeah.
How do you feel about winning the Abel Prize?
How I feel? I'm very proud of that, yeah. So I'm now feeling very happy, yeah.
So you said that creating something new is very important in mathematics.
I think so, yeah.
So you created new things very young in your master's thesis. You came up, or you developed a concept of
but I think to create new things, create is very. There are many ways of creation. So even if it is very small, or it is perhaps not very, very new, or it's just how to say, one step, but only one step further, but it's also new, and or one step or half step, so it can be new, and I think that's also important. I mean, of course, sometimes we can make a big jump. But I think, of course, that's important. But small step and little by little, so that can be a way to get a big step finally.
Yes.
I think it can happen also.
Many small steps to make a big step.
Yeah, I think it's also important also.
Yeah. And you also talk about, well, you have a lot of collaborators.
Yeah.
And you talk about it's important to collaborate.
Yeah.
Why is it important? And
I think there are many aspects, or there are many ways of importance. But so if I do something, then I'm somewhat confined or very nearsighted. You can see what you did, but you cannot be at the outside, and so sometimes collaborators give me that I have to have more wider insight or the view to the phenomenon, and I think that is one importance of the collaboration.
And do you think, so today we
Yeah.
had your lecture and 3 other lectures.
Yeah.
And I got a very strong sense about how there's very much an aspect of geometry, there's an aspect of algebra very strongly, there's the aspect of differential equation analysis.
Yeah.
So is it because it's this overlap that collaborations are so useful because everybody has a different view?
I think so, yeah, that's right. I can say I combined many subjects, but it's not only by myself, but so many collaborators gave me the ideas or I have to look at this direction or the other direction or make them together. And so the collaboration was very important for my studies or my research.
Mm-hmm. And you said how it's important to create something new, but
Yeah.
you just said that maybe the new things are very small steps too. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
have to be
yes,
a jump.
yeah.
So given that you don't have to make massive jumps all the time,
Yeah.
what is your advice to a young mathematician now? What would you say to a young mathematician now who wants to explore mathematics and have a career in mathematics? What is the most important thing to know?
Yeah, I think that is the same thing. But don't forget to make a new step. I mean, even if it is small, but otherwise you cannot develop yourself. Yeah.
So that was the 2025 Abel Prize winner, Masaki Kashiwara, talking to us after a ceremony at the University of Oslo where he received his prize from the King of Norway. It was really interesting talking to him, especially about this idea that creation is the most important thing in maths, and also about the importance of collaboration.
Yeah, I think it was really nice, the idea that collaborators give you insights, new insights into your work that you otherwise wouldn't get. And the beautiful music you heard was by Peter Baden, Astrid, Garmo and Lande, as we heard it at the ceremony in the beautiful aula at the University of Oslo. And the music throughout the ceremony was just beautiful, and it was really evocative because it wove together musical traditions of both Norway, that were the home of the Abel Prize, and traditions of Japan, where obviously Masaki Kashiwara has lived and worked his whole life. And yeah, it was really beautiful.
Yeah, and apart from the music, which was a really nice addition to that ceremony, what was also really interesting was that the walls of the university aula where the ceremony took place, they're covered in paintings by Edvard Munch, or Munch, as you might want to pronounce him, who many people will know as the painter of the Scream. And those walls are painted by very kind of colorful scenes that tell stories about the university and the sciences. And especially the painting right behind the stage, it has this huge sun, which is there as a symbol of life and the creative forces.
Yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. Now, Marianne, when the prize was first announced back in March, you spoke to Helga Holden, the chair of the Abel Prize Committee. And I thought it was really interesting that Helga pointed out that one of the things that makes the Abel Prize different from others is that it has these 2 goals. So obviously there's the goal of celebrating brilliance in mathematics, but also there's a goal to sort of stimulate and encourage young mathematicians in Norway.
Yeah, and these 2 things, they kind of run in parallel. And both purposes have been part of the Abel Prize ever since it was established back in 2002. And now, of course, as Helga said in a previous podcast, where you can listen to the interview with Helga, he said that encouraging young people is, of course, always an ongoing project because there's always a new generation of young people coming along. And the Abel Prize does it by running maths competitions for children and teenagers, and also by awarding a prize to a mathematics teacher every year.
Yeah, it was really lovely seeing some of the young people involved in those competitions and the winner of the Mathematics Teaching Prize, both at the ceremony but also during the other celebratory events, such as the dinner at the castle.
Yeah, that's true. And when it comes to the other strand of the Abel Prize, celebrating brilliant mathematicians, the Abel Prize covers all areas of mathematics, and kind of deciding where the boundaries between maths and other subjects is actually quite hard, as Helga told me in our interview previously. And also, there is no age limit on the Abel Prize, and that's in contrast to one of the other very prestigious maths prizes, the Fields Medals, where recipients have to be 40 years old or younger. Now, while we were in Oslo, we also spoke to Ragni Piene, who has also previously been a chair of the Abel Committee. And we asked Ragni about the impact the prize has on the mathematics community.
I think it has established itself as to be, maybe I should not say it, but as the most important prize in mathematics, together with the Fields Medal, but they're of very different nature, because the Fields Medal is for younger people and the Abel Prize is no age limit.
And so the Abel Prize is really recognising the body of a mathematician's work over their career.
That's what it usually does, except that sometimes it can also be given for particular results. So, for example, the Atiyah-Singer joint prize was for the Atiyah-Singer index theorem, but usually it's given for people of a certain age and for their body of work.
It's been really notable this year that many people have commented in their introductions and in Kashiwara's own work the importance of collaboration in Kashiwara's career. Can you tell us a bit about the importance of collaboration in mathematics and what could perhaps the wider world learn from how mathematicians do this?
I think it's becoming more and more common now for mathematicians to collaborate, and it used to be more sort of papers written by sole authors, and I think the trend now is there are more and more collaborations, and it's nice, it's interesting, and I think you get better results and you get more variety, you get different perspectives. And I think with Kashiwara is an example of 50 collaborators. It's fantastic.
What impact do you think the Abel Prize has had on the world at large, as in understanding or appreciation of mathematics, especially perhaps here in Norway? Does it make a difference to how the public perceives
I think at least it has helped some, I would say, and maybe we could have hoped for even larger impact in Norway. I think internationally it has quite has had an impact in not only in the mathematical world, but it has also received quite a lot of publicity in general. So I think it has certainly helped boost mathematics in some sense, and I think we still have a way to go in Norway, but it's going there.
And there's a lot of involvement of young people in Abel Prize Week, so that's been an important aim from the start.
Yes, and that was one of the arguments we used in order to establish the prize. To convince the government to establish it, that it would help recruiting young people and get interest up for mathematics. And I think it has done that. And it is still an important part of the prize. And it makes it special compared to other prizes, because I think no other prizes usually have this involvement of young people from the very start.
It was a nice moment at the end of the ceremony yesterday when a lot of the young mathematicians from Olympiads and things went up to the stage at the end of the ceremony and all had photos taken with the Abel Prize, which was nice.
Which was nice, yes.
As Ragni just said as well, the importance of collaboration was highlighted again and again during the Abel Week in Oslo.
Yes, and she was saying that Masaki Kashiwara has had so many collaborators over his long career, and we were lucky enough to speak with one of his most recent collaborators, Andrea D'Agnolo. You're one of Professor Kashiwara's most recent collaborators. Can you tell me what it's like collaborating with him?
Yes, I actually first met Masaki in 1990. It was a ICM, International Congress of Mathematicians in Kyoto, and for me he was already a kind of hero. Kashiwara is really an exceptional person, both from a personal point of view and also from a mathematical point of view. So I started to interact with them already at the time. I was a student of Pierre Chapira, who is the oldest collaborator of Masaki, and then little by little we started to interact more and more until at the end, as Shapira said in his interview, the idea is that if you have a good idea and Masaki clicks, then you collaborate, and the collaboration is, of course, it's on another level with respect to me, so I'm very happy that I could make him click a couple of times.
And the way both Professor Kashiwara has talked about collaboration and also people's memories, the anecdotes they've recounted, the collaboration it's about a personal connection, as it's about a mathematical connection, but it's also about getting to know each other, spending time with each other. What has it been like to sort of have the opportunity to interact with him in this way?
So as I said, I have known him since a long time, and I really appreciate him also on a personal level. I count him as a friend, and I had the opportunity to go many times to Kyoto and spend 1 month there. So I have a lot of time to stay with him. We go out for dinner, we go to swim in the river. Also outside mathematics, he's extremely nice person.
And I think the thing that struck us when we've been writing and reading about Kashiwara's work is this connecting of different areas of mathematics. In maths more generally, there's this sense that if you can find the right tool or the right lens in which to view something, suddenly it becomes easier. So something that it seems very hard when you look at it in the language of one area of mathematics, if you can find a tool from another area, suddenly you can see it
Yes.
It becomes clearer.
Yeah, that's the idea of a bridge. So you can algebraic analysis is a bridge between several parts of mathematics. So pass the bridge along with the tools that you carry from the other side, and this is the idea. The problem in building the bridges is that you need to be knowledgeable in both subjects. So Kashiwara is extremely good at that. And as you say, actually, once you have the solution, as Kashiwara provides you, then you can appreciate the fact that it is, in a sense, natural. The problem that you thought was difficult, if you look at it with the correct lenses, then indeed it is easy. But what's not easy is to find the correct lenses, because a nice comparison with other scientists, I don't know, physicists or people working in chemistry, they go to laboratory, and the laboratory for Masaki is computations, serious computations, difficult computations, because you cannot guess what's the solution, but if you compute more and more examples, then you get more and more acquainted with the subject, and then the idea springs from there. So yeah, it's a mix of this.
And this is the first time we've come to the Abel Prize week. What have been some of the highlights for you while you've been here this week?
So up until today there was not much concerning mathematics, but it was a wonderful organization, so it's an occasion to celebrate. Actually, as I said at the beginning of my talk, I'm extremely happy that Masaki won the Abel Prize, because it's an important recognition of his work. Everything went smoothly, and I don't know, what I appreciate most is the fact that Norwegian people tried to make a kind of bridge again between the world of Norway and the world of the country from which the laureate comes from. So we had the food, the music, everything was a mix of the two. I really liked these days.
That was Andrea D'Agnolo at the end of a day of Abel lectures at the University of Oslo. So apologies for the sounds of people packing up the stage behind us as we talked.
Yeah, and thanks to Andrea and also to Ragni Piene and especially to Masaki Kashiwara for speaking to us in Oslo during Abel Week. And also thanks again to the musicians Peter Baden, Astrid, Garmo and Lande for the stunning music from the ceremony that we hope we've given you a tiny taste of.
And also, of course, a huge thank you to everyone involved in the Abel Prize. It was a fantastic event, fantastic week, and you made everyone feel so welcome. So from us, thank you to Helga Holden, Unni Irmelin Kvam, Pål Petterson, Marina Tofting, and Lise Stranden, and all the Abel Prize team for such a fantastic celebration.
Yeah, and we're now back in the UK, and of course it's raining. But it was great to go to Oslo to see the Abel Week, especially because we've realized we've actually covered every single Abel Prize since the first one was awarded back in 2003. And we'll put links to all this coverage into the show notes.
And we'll put a link to the interview Marianne did with Helga Holden from March this year for when the prize was announced. But that's it for the podcast for today. We hope you've enjoyed our postcard from Oslo. And if you have enjoyed it, please do recommend us to a friend or rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening, because it really helps other people find the podcast. That's it for today. Bye.
Bye.